Fire it up. Let's go.
What's up, guys? Yogizilla here with Beard and Hat. This is episode 183 of HorsePLAY Live. We're going to start it here shortly. No pre-show. We're going to jump right in. It's our E3 special. So it's going to be all E3. It's kind of obligatory that we have an E3 show because no matter how you feel about the event, it's kind of a big deal. And this year, it was open to the general public. I mean, it's been open to the general public before, but it was hard for someone right off the street to get to E3. Now, this year, I guess they made it a lot easier, and apparently a lot of the media folks, podcasters and journalists and all that, weren't a big fan of that. That's interesting.
I wouldn't be a fan. I wouldn't be a fan of that either. It's supposed to be a show for the press.
That's true, and we've talked about this before. Like, is it a fan event or is it a press event? You know, and what does that mean? I like when it caters more to the fans, because sometimes it's just too marketing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, oh, here are the specs. Oh, here's some nice buzzwords. You know, like this year the buzzword was exclusive. that kind of became the running joke.
No, the buzzword was 4K and VR.
Yeah, I should put that in the show notes too. Cause that's the theme.
That's all anyone tried to shoehorn in. If it's a game that came out in the last 10 years, they made a VR version of it.
Though VR surprisingly did not have as big of an impact as some would have thought. I think it's fallen off again.
I called that.
Well, yeah, I know.
Like,
they're still pushing
from
it
the beginning.
Yeah, we both agree on that, but they're still pushing it, but not as hard.
Because the people who want to spend $800 for a fucking Cyclops visor to sit on their couch will do it.
Yeah, and they probably already did. So it's like, I feel like they already captured 90% of the market that's going to get that, and everyone else is kind of like, well, when the price drops, maybe.
I'm going to say they have at least 65 to 70%.
Okay. You're a little more generous than I am.
I'm a little more generous. I'm going to say, I'd say that there's more people out there who will get into VR once the games are better.
Yeah. There's too many tech demos. Like, they're nice showpieces, but you know, they don't really do anything. It's like, hey, look, this is really it looks good, cool.
But I have to say, if Skyrim comes out again, I'm gonna find a new hobby.
You know it's going to.
How much more can they milk that fucking thing?
Yeah, and you know, people were hopeful that there was gonna be a Elder Scrolls announcement outside of Elder Scrolls Online. No, they're writing out Elder Scrolls Online, and I'm fine with that because I like the game. But
you're like one of 8 people.
I know. We actually have a huge clan on there, or guild, better said. But what are you doing, kitty? My cat's acting up. Let me let her out real quick.
All right, take care of the cat. But yeah, E3 there was a lot good going on this year. Not the first couple days, but Sony and Nintendo definitely proved they did not come to fuck around.
So you're gonna have to be the Sony man, because I kind of mostly skipped on that. I did catch Nintendo and Microsoft, of course, and a little. I didn't catch that much of the PC stuff, but I mean, PCs, and I much as I love PC game, it's kind of paint by numbers. Look at all the cool hardware. Oh yeah, here are some games. That's kind of how the PC gaming show goes. I know they had this year. They also had the pre-show, and I mean, yeah, of course you do it this year when my schedule is really tight. They had like that 24/7 kind of thing going on between the pressers. So
there were a couple of there were a couple of good things that I saw pop up. The little media junket that Nicholas did, the company that did Thousand Spikes and Cave Story.
Oh yes, yeah.
They had
Cave Story
Stranger
Plus.
Blades. Yeah, Cave Story Plus for the Switch, which has some added functionality to it. Kind of like Binding of Isaac, Super Rebirth times 10.
Now hold up a second. I'm either lagging or you're roboting. Like you have like a tinny sound to your audio.
Oh, that's annoying.
Did you change something? You sound different.
No, it's probably just my shitty internet.
Ah, crap. Yeah, because you were
still doing
fine. You were fine earlier. It's
Yeah, is it still doing that?
It's not terrible. It's just it doesn't sound natural. It sounds very like processed.
How about now?
It's still the
Let
same.
me just... Alright, let me... Hopefully I don't have to do anything stupid, but...
I mean, you're not peaking, so it's fine. Like it's listenable.
Just tinny.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it not being right. So
yeah.
let me try a few things.
We'll just have the soldier on. BFT in the
Yeah.
house. I haven't seen him in a while. Oh, it sounds good on the stream. Okay, so maybe it's just on my side.
All right, that's good.
That's weird. All right, you ready to get the show on the road?
Yeah, let's discuss some things.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do the intro music and then I'll sound us in. Here we go.
All right.
You are listening to an All Games Radio Network broadcast of allgames.com.
Hi, this is Normie from Knuckleballer Radio and Zombie Cast, and you're listening to one of my favorite shows on the Geeky Antics Network. Don't forget to check out the rest of the gang over at geekyantics.net. Warning, there might be rants and food ahead and possibly inappropriate behavior. Don't tell anybody though.
Welcome, geeks, gamers, furries, and ninja robots. This is HorsePLAY Live. Today is Thursday, June 15th, and this is episode 183 of HorsePLAY, tentatively titled. Actually, it's a pretty hard title. We're gonna just commit to it. We're calling this one the Obligatory E3 Special. 2017 E3 word. It's just wrapped up. A lot of photos being shared of people leaving the event. Today's also my mom's birthday, so I want to give her a quick shout out. Not that she listens to the podcast, but you know, she's a pretty awesome gal. Pain in my ass, but you know, what parent is it? One of the reasons I am the person I am, so I gotta thank her for putting up with my shit all these years. And you know, I'm proud to say that even though she's old, I've gotten her to come around to embracing technology, because she's one of these people that doesn't really trust. She always says in Spanish, you know, no confío ni en la luz eléctrica, you know. Basically, she's saying she doesn't even believe in electricity, you know, electric light. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I guess you have to be there to really appreciate that. But anyway, I'm your bald pair lizard host, Yogizilla, and we have assembled a motley crew again, but it's a crew of two motley individuals, I guess you could say. And we're going to discuss all things geeky. It's going to be strictly E3 tonight, though we do have a little brief tribute before we jump in. And for those that are new to the show, we do this show live at twitch.tv/geekyantics over at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. GMT. Wow, I'm like learning to talk all over again. Earlier in the day, at 5 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us at allgames.com, our unofficial sister network. that we do the reruns over there. I call them HorsePLAY replay. You know, so I think it has a good ring to it. Quick shout out to BFT in the chat. BFT 9000. We haven't seen him in a while. He's been working crazy hours. He's just informed us he's been working till 11 p.m. and then going back in the next day 7 a.m. Good lord. I used to do those kind of things. Yeah, exactly. Ugh. I used to be able to do that kind of thing. Not anymore, man. I paid a price. Ugh. And then driving, especially if I drive to Savannah, it's a 2-hour trip each way. Not a huge thing, but when you're tired, yeah, it's a big deal. You're like, I'm not gonna make it. It's like the last 15 minutes. You're like, I'm not gonna make it. Oh man. But what else? The show is primarily a comedy show. That's the best way to describe it. We talk a lot about gaming, but it's all stuff geeky. But mainly, I would say we're comedy. We're just out of control sometimes. And with that, we're NSFW, NSFK. When I say for work, not say for kids. So proceed at your own risk. But we do hope you stick around. You like what you hear. And without further ado, let's introduce our other host, Beard and Hat. What's up, bro?
Nothing. I was actually on time this time.
You were. I was waiting patiently to see if we could get more people, but I think it's just us tonight. Unless Rarapuda jumps in later on. And by the way, the tinny sound that I was detecting, I think my headphones might be going bad or something's going on. I gotta put some new parts to this computer. Maybe this weekend I'll order some stuff. New sound card and mixing board stuff. We'll see. We'll see if the budget allows for it. Because, like, you know, I have the money, but I'm like, are there bills coming up? Are there unexpected things I should be ready for? You try to anticipate those things, you know, like car repairs and the stuff you got to get fixed in your house. And, man, it adds up.
Isn't your computer held together with, like, hopes and dreams, and that's about it?
No, it's not that bad. My computer's legit. The only thing it really needs, like, if I could spend all the money at once, guilt-free, I'd put a new CPU in there. I put some new RAM probably, but I probably don't need that. I have very good RAM in there. I have what do I have in there now? I forget. Do I have the Ripjaw, or did I put the Patriot in there? It's high-end RAM. I got the SSD, so I'm good on that. New video card, that's definitely a big one. Take the strain off the CPU. Power supply is really good. It's one of the platinum certified power supplies, whatever that means. What else do I need in there?
But at this point,
the sound card.
At this point, if you're gonna upgrade, you're gonna need a new motherboard because you're gonna want the newest and shiniest of CPUs and.
Yeah, and that's exactly the thing. Like, do I just do a patchwork fix and just try to tie me over for a year or two, or do I do it for the gusto?
Wait until Vega drops.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's always something new on the horizon when it comes to PC hardware. So, like, I feel like with a motherboard, I think the most important thing is that you have expansion slots. This particular motherboard is a hand-me-down that Obi gave me. I was going to drop big money on that motherboard. Hey, I have this motherboard. You want it? Like, yeah, fine. So then I just got parts for that. But, like, it's a really good motherboard, but it's also, like, a small form factor. So it's got, like, half the expansion slots it should have and only, like, 2 RAM slots. And it drives me fucking absolutely insane. Ugh. I'm definitely gonna get some new fans and a temperature controller on there. That at the very least, because at least that's something I could transfer over if I upgrade the motherboard and all that. You know what I mean? And this case is awesome. Yeah. So the case I'm keeping, but you're right. You're absolutely right. I think I'm just gonna hold off and get a motherboard and CPU combo. But the video card is something you could upgrade at any time. That's what I like about video cards. Like, they're usually pretty flexible on what kind of chipset you have, as long as it's, you know, within the last 5 years or so. You know what I mean?
See, like I said, I'm gonna wait until Vega. I'm gonna go full AMD build and call it a day.
So you are building a PC?
Probably next year.
Oh, dude.
But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the Mac OS on it because
Yeah, you
the
could
new
do
iMacs,
you could
because
do
the new
boot it.
iMacs that are coming are all AMD with the release of Vega. That's how they announced it.
Yeah.
Vega's starting off in the new iMacs, so
Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up dual booting the mofo. 'Cause I don't want to have Windows 10 as my main operating system, but I do want to have access to it because it does have some cool features.
No, I'm only going to have Mac OS and have OS X on it just to spite all of you. I'm going to build a PC and put
But then
Mac
we can't
OS
play
on it.
games together. That defeats the purpose.
You can play Borderlands.
Yeah, I love Borderlands.
Doesn't defeat the purpose.
I would love to play
It doesn't.
speedrunners with you or Dungeon of the Endless.
Speedrunners is multi-platform now. I think I own it.
It's multi-platform, but I don't think it's cross-play. It's a big difference.
It is crossplay.
Is it?
I think it is. I think if I remember correctly, I've played with other people that don't have Macs.
Dude, if that's the case, that would be sexy as fuck, because I love that
Because
game. You remember I used to
I'm
stream it all the time.
god awful. Yeah, I am god awful at it.
Worse than me? I doubt that.
We'll have to find out.
That's such a fun game, though. But that's the thing.
It is
At
good.
this point, all the people that still play that game is like Rocket League. Like Rocket League was great when it first came out, but now the people that still play it are just so good that you can't play that game casually.
You gotta wait for it to go on sale and let all the casuals buy it, and then
Yeah.
feel good about yourself for a week.
Exactly. BFT
I
says,
remember.
let's see what he's saying. He said, Bill's always coming up, hashtag adult life. Yep. And Monster World, think of the monsters. Monster Hunter World, I can't talk.
Yeah,
I've been
I'll be
drinking
getting
a little
that
bit.
on my PS4.
I still gotta say, every time someone brings up Monster Hunter, I always bring up DQM, Dragon Quest Monsters. If you haven't played that game yet, try that out. That game, phenomenal. Like, the breeding system in that game is just amazing. And it holds up
It's
well.
a smart game.
Yeah. Oh, you did play it, right?
Yeah, I played a lot of the Dragon Quest games.
Did you play Joker or the other version?
Don't remember. I think Joker. That's the one with the blue slime on it, right?
I think so. It's been a while.
I think it was that one.
Because
Yeah, I think
they
it
did
was
the whole Pokemon Diamond Pearl type of thing. You have two different versions. So if you have the other version of DQM, theoretically you could have monsters that I don't have, and we could trade and breed new monsters. That's why I ask. So
That's if I still have it somewhere.
you have to dust it off. But what else? Any
Let's
other?
not talk about old stuff.
We're talking about E3. You want to jump into E3? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, enough of the old stuff. There's new and shiny to talk about.
Yes. So before we get into that, this is our obligatory news and rant segment, and we want to just take a brief moment out to talk about Adam West, who recently passed away. And I know, some people are kind of jaded and they're like, oh, well, he was old, so you had to expect it, but yeah, that's true, but still, I feel it because to me it's the end of an era. He was a childhood role model. I looked up to him. I loved his work. I mean, he did so much. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm not even aware of, but I know he did the voice of the Mayor West on Family Guy. He did some other voice acting. He did that throwback animated series for Batman, which brought it back to the 1960s Batman. And he was also, even though he wasn't a big gamer, he was a big advocate for video games, which is really, really cool. Like, for someone that isn't into video games to say, hey, this is a very important thing that we really should be paying attention to, that speaks volumes, right? Because, it's easy for a gamer to say, oh, gaming is really important. But for a non-gamer to say, hey, this is huge. And in 1983, he wrote this op-ed. Did you see this yet? I put it in our show.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, yeah. So, I know a lot of people are talking about this now, kind of post-mortem, but this is something I read a while ago, and then I revisited it, with his passing away, and should I read the whole thing? It's not that long. You want to read it?
Go for it. No.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So he wrote, I've been playing with computers longer than most. I had onboard computers in Robinson Crusoe on Mars, having learned in an episode of TV's The Outer Limits that you can't survive on the red planet without them. The Outer Limits. Now think about this. This is 1983. And The Outer Limits was still running in the 90s. It's kind of interesting as a frame reference. Did you get into The Outer Limits?
Not so much.
How about Tales from the Dark Side?
Not at all.
Wow. Creep Show? Tales from the Crypt?
No, I was a bit young
Twilight
when
Zone?
that came out.
Twilight Zone?
Some of the Twilight Zone stuff I've seen. I'm familiar with it.
Are you into it or no?
It's hit or miss depending on the episode.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
It depends on each one because they were all their own self-contained story.
Yeah. Two of my favorites, if you ever get around to, I don't remember the titles, but one was, it was an end of the world scenario, and the guy was a recluse. The protagonist was a recluse, and he loved it. He's like, oh, people won't bother me anymore. I can read all the books I want, do whatever the hell I want. And he was happy with everybody being dead and being the last man on Earth, as far as he knew. And then at the end, the big twist, M. Night Shyamalan style, ooh, it's a twist, was that his glasses broke.
Yeah, that gets referenced everywhere.
Yes, it does.
That's one of the iconic ones.
Yep. But think about it, man. Like I still get chills thinking about it. Like, it's something so small and trivial, but if you need glasses and you have really poor eyesight, and then you have no one to make you a pair of eyeglasses, what the hell? What do? Like, even if you could figure it out, like, you can't see enough to see what's in front of you. So if you find the materials, you wouldn't know it. Like, oh man, that's so fucked up.
So you go find yourself a lens crafters and
yeah, right.
God, you can find something that kind of works.
But again, like, if your eyesight's bad, you may not even see that. Like, if your eyesight's really bad, you'll probably walk by the lens crafter and not even know it.
Well, you got plenty of time.
That's true. That's all you have, is just take your time and hope you stumble into something. Out here, by the way, Stanton is like our lens crafters, and they're freaking amazing. They have like walls and walls of different kind of frames. Oh, I love that place. I gotta make it out there, because they always have like amazing deals. Even if you don't have vision insurance, they'll work with you. They'll do payments and everything, and they got amazing frames, man. Like, they even got the flexible frames. What's that?
For the most part, you can get like a prescription exam and all that for like $100 if you hit a deal at the right time at those places.
Yeah.
Even without insurance,
there's still some places though that will price gouge you though. But yeah, about $100 for the exam, and maybe $100 to $200 for the frames and lenses, depending.
The frames you're getting screwed on anyway. Yeah,
and well, the other thing too that gets expensive is if you have a really high, like a really heavy prescription, and
or bifocals.
Or bifocals, because if you don't go with the thick lenses and you try to go with the high density where they compress it, that gets expensive. You're looking at another $100 or so at least. And then the scratch guard, which is hit or miss. I like it, but sometimes that no, not the scratch guard. Scratch guard's fine. The UV coating, I like sometimes that's hit or miss, because sometimes that UV coating starts chipping and peeling. You ever noticed that?
Then you have spots that are clear and spots that aren't, and then you're fucked.
Exactly. Or transitionals. I love transitionals. Transitionals are really good.
I've had the same glasses for 7 years now.
Damn, dude. You're not due for a new prescription yet?
I'm due for a new prescription, but that's only because the shingles that I had fucked my vision up.
So you're probably like most people that have glasses. You can see fine, but it's not as clear. Sometimes you have to squint when something's a little further, right?
It's close, actually.
Okay. Because me, I'm at that point, like, everything's clear, but if I'm looking down the street at a sign or something, or I'm driving, sometimes I have to squint. So, like, to make it look a little clearer, but, so I'm probably due. I'm going to be blind as a bat by the time I hit, like, 65. Oh, well.
Me too. That's the nature of sitting in front of a computer screen all day.
Yep, and I can't use it dim. Like, I know they recommend. Remember when those they used to have those things you put in front of your monitors to like block the harmful rays or whatever? Remember those things, the filters?
Yeah, back when people were still using fucking CRT monitors.
Yeah. I guess you don't really need them now with the flat panel, but they say that you shouldn't have full brightness. But who wants to look at a dim display?
If I'm in a dark room, I'd rather have the display dim.
Yeah, that's true. If you're in a dark room, yeah. But if you're in a bright room, you want it bright. It's relative, right?
Yeah, it's got to match. That's why most monitors, at least with all-in-ones, because they have the camera sensor on the front of it, it'll gauge the room and then adjust the brightness accordingly.
Yep. And smartphones.
Or is that just a Mac thing?
No, they do that. But that's if it's, like you said, all in one, if it's integrated. If not, you have to kind of fiddle to get the kind of functionality. But smartphones do that too, so. All right, back to this op-ed. Back to this op-ed. So they wrote, then of course I was up to my cowl in computers at Television's Batman. We had an interdigital bat sorter, chemoelectric secret writing detector, an intergalactic recorder, and other forward-looking implements. In 1966, when the series began its 3-season run, all of that was science fiction. It was a forward-thinking show, as cheesy as it was. Computers were playthings.
It was only 3 seasons.
I think it went longer, but he's talking about, like, well, I think it was maybe 4 seasons, wasn't it? I want to say it was 4 or 5 seasons, maybe. And then they did that movie to kind of cap it all off.
The movie was excellent.
Yeah, it was. You know, it's hard for me to gauge it because I've rewatched those episodes so many times that it feels a lot longer than it really is.
Yeah.
So he wrote, computers were playthings of the researchers at MIT, and satellite dishes were strictly for communicating with those brave pioneers in Gemini and Apollo spacecraft. The only cable I ever thought about was the one which carried television impulses to and from Europe, and now that has been replaced by far more efficient satellites. I mean, he was a really good writer, man. Video games in the 60s, that meant to tell the truth and what's my line. Today, a lot of apparatus we had in Batman, dressed of course in less imposing names, is fact. We're lucky this is so. My present day fascination with video games does not derive from personal affection. I prefer working out and skiing to playing video games. But that's a personal preference, not a value judgment. I love that he put that in there. Like, he already anticipated the pushback, and he said, hey, you know, I had nothing against it. I think it's actually a good pursuit, but it's not for me. Then he goes on to say, I happen to think that video games are an ideal means to help broaden the imagination of young people. And that's true. Except not so much these days, because it's like every kid plays the same couple of games, and usually it's Call of Duty. And unfortunately, that they're probably not getting much value out of that, other than learning how to curse like a sailor.
Well, think of it this way: what games did you play as a kid out in fucking backyards and shit? You were playing Army. You were playing Cops and Robbers. You were playing gun games. At least
true.
I was.
Yeah, we did a lot.
It's not much.
We did a lot of pin the tail on the donkey type of stuff too. Not the big one, but you know, we had a lot more for me, we had a lot more things that stimulated the imagination. We had, like, Play-Doh was really big, you know, silly putty. The little metal shavings, you know, put a beard or mustache on the guy thing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the Lego was big. Lincoln Logs. What do you call the metal building blocks? One of them weren't really building blocks, but gosh, I can't remember. Erector, right?
Yeah, the erector sets.
Yeah, those were great. You know, then much later on, Connects was a big thing. It's still kind of around. You know, but there was a lot of things that got you thinking, and I guess now you can say that's Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's less variety now. Like, it's a lot more focus on certain spaces, right? There was a lot more stuff going on before. You know, you had Etch-a-Sketches and speaking spells and, you know, playing Simon. You know, there's a lot more variety before, and now it's more about finding the one thing you really like or the two things you really like, and then just being habitual with that. Like, I think that's the paradigm shift. So I agree. Like, it's always been cops and robbers and cowboys and Indians, right? That, you know, we're talking about decades and decades of American history, but it has degraded in the sense that the horizons aren't as broad as they used to be. You talk to a kid these days, they probably don't have very diverse interests. You know, I remember when I was a kid, and at any given time, you'd ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up. You know, I wanted to be an electrician, or I wanted to be a carpenter, or I wanted to be a handyman like my daddy. You know, I wanted to be an architect, a firefighter, a cop. Yeah, I was all over the place. Now, like, you ask the average kid, they're like, I don't know, or they'll say, I want to be a video game tester, you know. I want to be a Twitch streamer.
I wanted to be a dinosaur.
You want to be a dinosaur? Dude, I was really into dinosaurs. I used to get the... What was it through Highlights? I think it was through Highlights magazine. They had a separate magazine that was just all dinosaurs. Do you remember that? Was that still around? Yeah.
It was like the same. It was like the same 20 issues or something, like 24 issues, because we had ordered it for my daughter when she was in kindergarten, and it was the same ones that I got when I was a kid.
That's pretty cool, actually, because you could tell her about the memories you had with that. That's cool. I like that.
It was pretty cool.
Oh man,
it's almost like it was intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. That's I didn't know that, man.
It's one of the reasons why I liked Ark.
Yeah, but I know
pull some shitty business practices.
Yeah, and that's kind of, unfortunately, that's kind of where the industry has been heading into. Very questionable practices and nickel and diming. But yeah, we won't get into that. It's gonna go to a very dark place. What was I gonna say about that? We have a Highlights magazine. Did your school do Troll? You remember Troll, the book service?
I think it was called something different.
It was a Scholastic service. It was we
had Scholastic.
So it was like a paper, maybe like 4 to 6 page catalog where you would order stuff off of it, and then it would come to your school, and then they would divvy it up.
Yeah, it was just Scholastic.
Yeah, so
they didn't have a special name for it.
So they probably changed it. Yeah, back in my day, they used to call it Troll by Scholastic, and you could order stickers. They had the Choose Your Own Adventure books. Those were big. The Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew. I'm dating myself here.
Yeah, you're not making a good case for yourself.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm okay with it. My hair left a long time ago. I don't care anymore. That's how I look at it. Oh man, but I used to be like the highlight of the days, like when you would notice that big old box was in the classroom, your homeroom, And you're like, that's our stuff from Troll. Oh man. But sometimes that teachers would be such cock teasers, and like they wouldn't divvy it up until days later, even though we see the box there. Sometimes we'd be screaming like, let's just get into the box and get it ourselves.
That's got to be half the fun of being a teacher. It's just fucking with kids.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm not a teacher.
I've taught before. I did. I worked. I volunteered at our local Head Start center. So you know the kids are like what 4 to 6 years old.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It was actually kind of an emotional ride because the kids would get really attached to me for some reason. You know, I'd read them stories, and we'd had, you know, goof around and stuff, and I was a lot more engaging than some of the other people that were there. And then when like their parents would come, I felt so bad because their parents would be like, I don't want to go with you. I want to stay with Yomar. And I'm like, oh, no, you got to go home with mommy and daddy.
You can't come home with me.
Yeah,
I don't want you.
Yeah, because kids are great when like you don't have to keep them.
Yeah.
When you have to keep them, they're like, I love you, but damn. But yeah, I taught adult classes at college. Man, I've done a lot of stuff. I'm old. Fuck.
Yeah, you are. It's okay.
But yeah, teaching's fun, man. But I gotta say, like, those are like, if there's any kind of profession you want to put on a pedestal, is teachers. At least the teachers that actually give a shit. 'Cause a lot of them don't. The other one I would say is also nurses. 'Cause a lot of nurses fucking suck.
Yeah. I've definitely, I too have done a couple of teaching classes. I taught art classes to preschool kids.
Oh, cool. That had to be fun.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude.
It sucks that you can't mock. It sucks that you can't mock the ones that are bad at art, because that would just be that's a dick move.
But it's funny to think about.
It is.
But
like I said, these are the reasons why I'm not a teacher.
See, the nice thing about the education career path is that you don't have to do it full time. There's always opportunities that you could do speaking engagements, corporate workshops, certificate classes. You know, there's all kinds of opportunities, you know, you could do here and there as you're available. And they're always looking for people because so many people just cancel last minute or just flake out.
Yeah.
Alright, so back to Adam West's op-ed. Oh man, this beer has been going I'm pretty nice right now, man. Alright. Excellent. That's a good
We'll get your real opinions on E3.
Like I said, once we get to the E3, it's mostly going to be your show, to be honest. I only have a few comments on it. Alright, so Adam West goes on to say, take the character of Batman. Our show still draws heavy ratings, and this is in 1983, whenever it's shown. And I'm pleased that today's relatively sophisticated audiences, well, he's way too flattering, enjoy the unique meld of action and humor we had in every episode. Yet, I'd like to see a video game which features Batman as he was conceived back in 1939, a shadowy creature of the night. How funny is that? That's what he wanted, and that's what ended up coming to be. But it didn't happen until much later.
Because he knew people wanted it before anyone even decided, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Because everyone looked at because unlike him and his the people who were forward thinking, they saw it as a kids medium. It's like, oh, that's for babies.
Comic books. Oh, it's for kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an American thing, because like in Japan, like anime is a very serious thing, you know. So that's interesting. But Actually, I gotta be fair. The NES Batman games were actually really serious, and the 16-bit ones too. They did portray the darker Batman, so that did come to be, but it still took a few years before it came around. Alright, so he writes also, once again, I personally would rather play that part than play the game. But for all the people who don't have that option, video games are a great way to experience the thrill and challenge of being such an extraordinary figure. Needless to say, adventure characters, this is a big takeaway right here, I think. Needless to say, adventure characters should be just one facet of video gaming. In the same way a painting allows us to gaze upon the faces and souls of people from another age, or a book permits us to linger on the thoughts of great figures from history and fiction, video games can expand our awareness of the world as it is, was, or might be. The medium is still in its infancy, but we'll read this again in a few years and see if this prediction hasn't come true. As video gaming grows, we will grow. Oh man, I love that.
Yeah, he's spot on.
Yeah. Like, for someone that's not in the industry to have a better grasp than a lot of people that are in the industry, that's kind of telling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, so yeah, he's gonna be missed. And already, where people are talking about other people that are up there in the years. 'Cause I know Betty White's in her 90s, right? People saying she's probably gonna be next. Dick Van Dyke
isn't dead yet.
Who? Which one?
Keith Richards.
Oh God, yeah. This is a good one. How about Dick Van Dyke?
He's another one that's just. He's been old for as long as I've been alive.
Do you always remember him with gray hair?
Yep.
Damn. So you remember him like the die?
I didn't even realize it was him in Mary Poppins. I had
Or,
no idea.
Or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Yep. And BFT says Betty White's not dying, she's a freaking Terminator. Dude, I know. The day's coming, man. Heck, my grandmother. My grandmother, I'm losing my voice here. My grandmother just hit 90. And I'm like, man, I need to go visit her before she moves on. So, like,
do it.
Yeah, I need to. Like, it's like that kind of thing. Like, when you think about that, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Cause family is really important to me, and I'm like, you always put off stuff, right? And then it's like the only way you really get family together is by having like you have an emergency, you have a funeral, and then all of a sudden everybody's united, and it's kind of tragic. Like these days, that's the only time I really see all my cousins, aunts, and uncles when someone dies. I'm like, damn.
Well, once the family disperses out, that's just how it is most of the time.
Yeah,
it's not easy. It's not easy to just justify dropping everything you have going on and going elsewhere. That's what happens when you're an adult, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. So I'm hoping maybe in the winter I'm gonna try to make a trip out to Puerto Rico and catch up my family out there, rent a car and explore the island. It's changed a lot since I last been there. Hopefully avoid some of the riots that are going on because of the economic crisis over there. It's a mess in Puerto Rico right now.
Yeah, they got some problems.
Yeah,
they're trying to. I heard that they were attempting to petition to become a state.
Yes, and it was a majority vote, but they only had a 20% voter turnout.
Because the opposition had come out and said, if you don't want to be a state, just don't vote. So that's even more damning than it being like a 60-40 vote. Because you got 80% of the people didn't vote. And even if they were neutral on it, even if they didn't care if it's a state or not, that automatically counts as a no. It's a smart move by the opposition.
Yeah.
And honestly, it'd be a bad move to accept it as the 51st state right now. Given the economic issues that they're having, they would just become a automatic welfare state on top of the already depleted welfare state of the United States.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but as good as it would be in long term, they're gonna have to just tough it out on their own. Maybe I don't know, if maybe a stimulus package. I don't know what they gotta do. And it's so weird because Puerto Rico has all these tech companies that are moving over there. They got crazy tourism. So, like, the money's coming in.
It's clearly money mismanagement and a vast need of a government audit.
Yeah. That checks and balances. We learned that in school.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, you know, let's jump right into it before we go off on other tangents. Let's get into the E3 talk. E3 2017. I guess it's officially over now, right? Because there's no more floor events or anything. I think they closed up everything, right?
Yeah, I think it ended. I think last night was wrap up.
Well, because they have basically like 3 days of media events and then 2 days of like general public all access type of things, right?
The general public stuff is the less interesting stuff. They're not going to drop any bombshells then.
Yeah, it's basically just booths and come try out what we already talked about.
Yeah. It's like, hey, come look at Mario's sweet, sweet hair.
Well, I saw a lot of like tweets and Instagram posts and just general buzz about people complaining about the general public access, because this year you didn't have to be media, or an industry person in order to get into the event. And I'm talking about access to the pressers as well. So they were able to get into the press conferences, and the general consensus seems to be everybody was like, next year don't make it open to general public. Okay, thanks, bye. So I thought that was interesting.
I can understand the frustration, but what they should do is, I don't know if they did this or not, but the press should get first priority over everyone else for getting into the events, and then from there, whatever's open, the people can get some slots there. But it's not Comic-Con. It's an industry event.
Yeah,
so
and
they should make it less of a spectacle if they don't want it to be as much of a general public wanting to get in.
And that's the thing.
If you make it, with all of the hoopla around it, all the booth setups and everything, it doesn't come across as just being a media event.
Did I lose you for a second?
Did you say something after that? So it doesn't come across as a media event with how big of a production it is.
There we go. I figured out the problem why you were sounding tinny. I had a cable going bad.
Oh. That explains it.
There we go. Oh, man, now you sound crystal clear. Oh, baby.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, and that's the interesting thing. Like, I've had trouble getting excited about E3 because I felt it was too heavy on the business side. It was too heavy on getting the shareholders excited rather than catering to the fans. So now they're trying to open it up more, right?
By catering more to the fans, all you're doing is hyping out games earlier than you should.
That's true.
Like, for a perfect example.
Don't
Nintendo.
say it! Okay, I thought you would say it. Okay, we're good.
Nintendo. Showing... They could have been just fine showing the Samus Returns remake for the DS.
Yeah.
That would have been perfectly fine because that's coming soon. But then they have to push it a step further and then they show the Metroid Prime 4 title screen. Just the fucking title card and it says in development. That's not for the industry. That doesn't do anything for your shareholders. That doesn't help you at all. All that does is just generate some buzz, some hype for a game that's probably 3 years out.
Yeah.
I mean, that just... And even then, that'll turn around and bite you in the ass because the people who you're teasing it out to are going to get pissed that it's not out yet.
That's true. They started a clock now.
Yeah.
But I mean, and we'll get to that, but I mean, it's nice that they're at least listening, because that's something we've been asking for. Did they announce 2 Metroid games this E3?
Yeah, they announced 2. They're remaking Metroid 2, Samus Returns, for the DS. I think it's for the DS. It might also be for the Switch.
Okay.
Double check that.
That's the one that was on the Game
It's coming
Boy.
out for the 3DS. Yeah.
That's the one a lot of people missed.
I still have that somewhere. That was a good game.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Because like a lot of times people think about the follow-up to Metroid as Super Metroid.
Super Metroid.
But honestly, that game, to me, was the same Metroid game, just with better graphics.
Yeah, it was a better version of Metroid 1.
Yeah.
And now that it's coming to the 3DS, that gives a lot of people the option to play a game that was probably made 10 years before they were born.
Yeah?
And it's a Game Boy game, so good luck finding something that can play a fucking Game Boy game.
Oh, God. Metroid Fusion is another one everybody should play. And you know what? You like Fusion?
Fusion was great. That was the one on the for the Advanced.
Yep. That's the one that also tied into the original Metroid Prime. It had an import.
Mm-hmm. They had the Shadow Samus.
Yep. Oh, man.
Which, as much as I'm kind of upset that I can't get hyped about Nintendo bringing Super Metroid or Metroid Prime back because they didn't show me anything but a title screen, I loved the Prime series, like everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think when they brought it over to the Wii, I felt like that really showcased how the Wii's motion controls can work and work well. Nobody else fucking did it. Nobody else used the Wii controls like that, but Metroid did. And that series can and should go down as some of the best from current era gaming. So they had a lot to live up to with 4.
Oh, yeah. There's the bar's been set really high. Because I can't think of all the Metroid Prime games, as far as I'm concerned, top notch.
Yeah, and then they had what is it? It was Other M that came out after that, which just immediately plummeted that bar back down to 0.
Well, no one thinks about that game, because wasn't that done by Team Ninja or whatever?
Yeah, Team Ninja did it, but it's still a Metroid game.
Yeah.
It sucked.
But I think people forget about that. Like, they don't consider that canon. By the way, BFT mentioned a good point. That Fusion is actually the last game, story-wise, for Metroid. Man, let me tell you. We're jumping ahead, because I had this in the show notes further up ahead. But since we're already talking about it, if the Switch could sell me on their controller, and I don't want any fucking touchscreen bullshit. Just a regular good controller with dual analog, right?
They have
tell me
that.
all right.
They have the pro controller. You can get that.
Okay, so we're good there. But I want to feel it and really be convinced that it's the controller for me, right? If I get sold on that,
it's like the Xbox One controller.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to that, bro. If I touch this thing and it doesn't feel the same way, I'm gonna be sad. Especially
texture-wise, it might not be, but shape-wise, it is.
All right. The other thing is, I still feel like they need to work on the online stuff. But I guess I could probably make concessions there because, let's be honest, the main reason you get a Nintendo console is to play the great single-player games, right? So
I'd say Nintendo is more about fun games you can couch co-op.
Okay, yeah, I get down with that.
That's always been my reason for buying most Nintendo consoles.
Well, here's my other thing. Here's my other thing too. I think about the Switch, and I'm thinking about it more seriously now because you're really hyped about it, and obviously they did really well in E3.
I wasn't hyped about it. I was skeptical and reserved about buying a Switch until this E3.
Okay, so that put you over the edge.
It really put me over the edge where I'm like, I need to get one of these by the end of the year. I'm not buying in on the Amiibo hype because those are stupid, but the games that they brought out this year and teased at towards the future, Nintendo, their core games, the games that Nintendo makes, will be enough to buy the system. And then anything else the third parties tack on, perfectly fine. It'll be just like the Wii U.
But see, it's all about, here's the other thing. One, I think about this, it could be the perfect living room console for my family, right? And it could be something where we could just goof around together on some games, right?
Yeah.
But then I think about it as like, that's a really delicate system if you really stop to think about it. So all I need is one of the little ones just going up there and like, you know, and
well, that
I might have to put up on a shelf.
We made it. You could throw a fucking controller through your TV.
Yeah.
And every house has at least one of those.
But I feel like the Switch, you wouldn't want it on your entertainment center or your TV stand. You'd want it up on a shelf. I just feel like there's just too much tech in there.
If there are small children around, yes. If there are small children around, you don't want anything within their reach. I don't care what system it is.
Well, I mean, the big boxy Xbox One is a lot more resilient than a little Switch. Let's be honest.
Let's drop both of them and see which one comes out on top.
Right, but you're assuming a 4 or 5-year-old has the power to lift up an Xbox One and throw it far enough to make a difference. The Switch, they can fart on it and they'll fly. That's the difference. So a drop test wouldn't apply there.
The thing is, the 3DS can take a fucking beating.
Oh yeah, that it does. Those are
so. But why wouldn't Nintendo have that in their in mind with the Switch?
See, but the thing is, I feel like they have a different QA process when it comes to their handheld systems. Like, I feel like Nintendo that produces the DS and the Game Boy Advance and all those type of systems is different from the one that produces the consoles. It's like they have a different R&D process. So I don't know. I need to get some hands-on with it to really formulate a proper opinion. But that's what I've seen to date. Like, they don't think about that wear and tear factor when designing the home consoles. But with the handhelds, they think about it.
They didn't have to think about it with the home consoles because when are you gonna drop a fucking console? With the Switch, I would certainly hope that they took that in mind because they planned on making it a mobile device as well.
Exactly. Have you gotten your hands on one yet?
I have not played one yet, outside of like at a store where it's bolted to the display.
Ugh. So you can't move it around, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll be buying one by the end of the year.
Oh man, this is gonna be an expensive year because the Xbox One X. I'm really excited about that, but then that means also getting a 4K TV, which I haven't jumped on board yet. I know you're not.
Here's
big,
the thing,
but the Switch, I might do it.
The point of a console is the exclusive games. 100%, it's the exclusive games.
It used to be. It used to be.
What's the point now? It's still the point. Is the exclusive games. What's the difference between an Xbox and a PlayStation?
To me, it comes down now to... Because none of the exclusives really tell me... For me, everybody has one or two huge exclusives. That's not enough to buy a console. So then it comes down to, what are your friends on? How's the online experience? And do you like the peripherals? That's, for me, that's what it comes down to. I can't stand the PlayStation controllers. They make me want to freaking just throw my head through a window.
I will use a PlayStation controller every opportunity I get. I have one connected to my computer right now to play Steam games with. The PS3 controller is my favorite controller ever made.
PlayStation 3?
So, yeah, the PS3, the 1, 2, 3, that same one, because they didn't change it, was great. The PS4, I'm still meh.
You're talking about the wider. DualShock 3?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
I have one of those.
The new one, the one that's for the PS4. It's a little bit wider. It's got that big touchpad in the middle of it. It's stupid. It's not my favorite, but
yeah, we got one in the house. I see what they're trying to do with it. It's pretty neat in concept, but in execution, it's like, eh. I don't know. For me, like, I don't have huge hands, but I'm using that it's like built for really tiny hands. My hands cramp up, like carpal tunnel kicks in. I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know.
What I was getting at was every game you can get on the Xbox, you can get on the Windows 10 store, or you can get on Steam.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And you can play with people who have an Xbox One.
Yeah.
So, what's the point of buying an Xbox One?
Convenience. I'm a big PC gamer, and I still lean toward my Xbox One because it's convenient. That's the simple...
I will agree with you. But if you have a 4K setup, what purpose? I don't see the purpose of the Xbox One in comparison to the PS4 or the PS4 Pro.
We'll definitely get to that. And you know, we're talking about this. The buzzwords this E3 were 4K, VR, and exclusive. Yeah. Now, VR, we didn't hear as much as we expected, and you and I both kind of predicted that was going to kind of fall off. They're still pushing for it, but not as hard.
Yeah, they're pushing VR as hard as I expected them to. I honestly, with the Bethesda conference, I expected them to have VR for Wolfenstein, the new Wolfenstein they're putting out.
Oh, that looks good.
It looks interesting. I'll definitely give it that. It looks interesting.
All right, I'll take that.
Because the last Wolfenstein was not bad. The New Order was a alright game. It was definitely a good return to form for Wolfenstein, same way they did with Doom the next year. So I trust that they're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But it's a sequel.
Well, you know, at this point, I really would say I have full confidence in anything it puts out now that they're under the Bethesda umbrella. Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong in putting that faith there, because now that they have that Bethesda budget, now they have that Skyrim money.
Yeah.
Fucking Skyrim.
I know that game keeps just it's free
Here's the
money
thing.
for them. They're printing out money at this point.
Skyrim wasn't even the best fantasy RPG when it came out.
I agree.
Dragon Age Origins was better. And if it wasn't for the mod community, that game would have been dead. Dead.
Yeah.
Especially with all the fucking technical issues it had.
Yep.
I don't know why anyone who bought it on PS3 is giving Bethesda their money anymore. Because I think the game is still broken on PS3 today. And I don't think all the DLC works.
Honestly, as someone that's been playing Elder Scrolls for a long time, I still think Oblivion is a better game. As far as vanilla Oblivion compared to vanilla Skyrim, I think vanilla Oblivion wins. Personally.
I will only... When judging a game, you can't judge the mods as well.
Yeah.
You can only judge the vanilla, because that's what the company produced.
Yep.
So if you look at it, say, oh wow, Skyrim's amazing. No, it was subpar. The mod community made it amazing.
Now the exception is if it's a sandbox type of game where UGC, user-generated content, is at the core of the experience, like a Speedrunners or N+, where a lot of the stuff you play, or Happy Wheels, where a lot of the stuff you play are user-created things. Or if you want to take it even further back, Warcraft 3, where Dota got its start, you know?
Well, that's those types of games, like your Gmods and stuff like that.
Game mod, yep. Yeah,
those are a different thing, but a full-on RPG, a giant open world RPG.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge production.
You can't judge the quality of the game based on what the modders have done.
No, I agree.
Because that's setting up the expectations for the next Elder Scrolls game too high, I think. If you're expecting your fully modded Skyrim to be what the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be, you're asking too much. And now that they're bringing back the paid mods, it's going to be even worse.
And I would not be surprised if Bethesda decided to just throw all their support behind Elder Scrolls Online and maybe not ever release another Elder Scrolls game. That's crazy to say, but
it's crazy, but you look at some of the other companies. Look at we'll just say Valve, for example. They've been so successful with Steam, they don't have to do much for games.
Yeah.
But then you look at Bethesda, and they're kind of, that Skyrim department's in the same type of boat. Because what do they really have to do? They're just, every time someone makes a new mod, more people are buying that game. They can focus on Elder Scrolls Online if they wanted to and really make that into something that people want to play. Good luck. MMOs aren't the new hotness anymore. It's not.
That's true.
The thing that people are getting excited about.
Which is interesting because we saw some MMOs revealed during E3, one of which was Black Desert. Which, it's a beautiful looking game. I like the anime style, and
That game's been around for a little while now.
it has been. But again, to console gamers who are pure console gamers, it's gonna be the hot new thing. I mean, if you look
I don't know, because I'm not sure how well games like Neverwinter did on console, so I don't.
See, I was just gonna say that Neverwinter is actually doing really well, relatively speaking. It actually had a resurgence with console. Yeah, as far as hard number, I couldn't tell you right now. But every time I go into
Sony also
Neverwinter,
gave it away for free.
yeah, that's possible. But I mean, every time I go onto Neverwinter, that game is always bustling, man. And I actually really enjoy that game. Like, as dated as that game seems at times, that world is so alive, and there's just so much to keep you busy. Neverwinter is a game I wish I had more time to put into, and I actually I enjoy that game so much. I feel guilty that I'm not spending money on it right now. That's how good it is to me. I really do. I feel kind of dirty. I'm like, I'm a fucking cheap fuck. I really should put some money into this just to keep this game alive. So I encourage anyone that's enjoying that game, buy a mount or one of the crystal packs or something. I don't know. Because I think that's one of the better games out there. As far if you're into MMOs and you want that more expansive universe type of thing, I would definitely say give Neverwinter a try. It's a good game, and they're constantly putting out new expansions for that for free. In fact, as much as I love Elder Scrolls Online, I'm like, Elder Scrolls Online obviously has more polish and everything, but Neverwinter is right behind it in terms of quality. And it's a free game. Well,
see, it seems
free to play.
Like right now, it seems like right now the MMOs that everyone's looking up, trying to catch up to, is Final Fantasy 14. Because I think Square put in quite a bit of work to get that to a point where it's an acceptable game.
Yeah.
Even still, it's an MMO, and people don't have that kind of time or attention anymore.
Yeah. See,
the
that's one thing.
That...
And just to stop you real quick, one thing that Neverwinter does to separate itself, it's the kind of game you could jump in and out real quick, and like you'll feel. Personally, I feel satisfied if I'm just like riding around and goofy around in Neverwinter. You could just say, "Hey, I'm just gonna log in and fight the dragon," and then log off.
Yeah.
And then when you fight the dragons, it's like, 50 or 100 players fighting that same dragon because it's a big boss, So that's something that a lot of MMOs
about that's one thing I do really miss about the MMO aspect, is because it's such you feel like a large group.
Yes.
You actually feel like the community aspect of.
And the persistence of the universe. The persistence of the universe, like having that sense that even when you're not on, there's stuff going on, and you jump into it in like midway or whatever. That's a cool feeling. Like that's something that's really hard to recreate anywhere else. So they're still gonna have a place, 'cause, I'm just as hard on MMOs as you are, and but Neverwinter is like one to treat.
We remember when the Koreans were pumping out MMOs.
They still are.
On the daily, there were like 16 new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was.
A lot of them still around. A lot of them still around. Maple Story.
NS.
Mabinogi.
NS Soft, or it was like NS or NC Soft.
A
lot of them went free to play.
Yeah, NC Soft was one of my favorites because they did City of Heroes and City of Villains, and they were supposed to do
and Lineage.
Yeah, Lineage. Oh God, Lineage. But City of Heroes was my favorite by far.
I think Lineage 2 just went free to play recently.
Really?
Like within the last year or two.
I might have to jump back into that. Okay. The other one is not NC Soft. Oh, what's the other one that does Gunbound and a bunch of other games? They do Combat Arms. Nixoft, is that the name? Nexon. That's their name. That's another one, big one, and I think they're based out of Korea as well. So they're still going strong, though their formula tends to be more of let's bite off what everyone else is doing and just do it cheaper.
Or it's let's see how much we can make an okay game, and then nickel and dime the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Because it's an MMO and servers are expensive.
Yeah. Mobile games are actually worse on that than the MMOs these days, I find. Ooh, excuse me. But yeah, it's an interesting landscape, man, because you still have Warcraft trying to hang on, and you know, I think it's still the #1 MMO out there because you know it's got the brand power.
Even then, they were hemorrhaging people for years, and I think they're at the point now where it's not so much that they aren't losing people anymore. It's just that the mass exodus has stopped. The people who are playing are the ones who will continue playing.
Yeah. I wonder how long until they finally go free to play.
No, Blizzard will never do that.
That's what we say.
Or at least EA won't, or not. Activision won't do that.
That's true.
That's not Activision's MO. They will bleed it to death.
But I love I love the Warcraft universe. But then when I think about all the free MMOs that are out there, I'm like, why would I pay for this? I don't want to see elf booty that bad.
It's an objectively better experience as far as MMOs go for some of them, but I don't know, I always thought World of Warcraft was never even in the top 5 of RPGs I was looking at.
Oh yeah, well yeah, as a RPG, it pales in comparison. But as an MMO, I think it still leads the pack.
Take a look at Final Fantasy 15.
I
or
do
14 rather, not 15.
I do like the
15,
crafting.
Buy it and play it.
I do like the crafting in the Final Fantasy MMOs, so. But I'm scared to go down that road. And it's subscription based, isn't it?
Yeah, it's subscription. I think it's $15 a month.
I had a code for like 3 months free, and I think I meant to give it away, and it's probably expired by now. Oh well.
You're lying. You put it in your pocket and you kept it.
No. I hate for it to go to
Sold
waste.
it on eBay instead. Yeah, that would suck.
Oh yeah, BFT says it's $12.99 or $14.99 a month. It still amazes me that there's still people doing that. Like
models?
Yeah, like Elder Scrolls Online is free to play, but they have the Plus. That's an optional thing. That's $15 a month. But you know, I don't know.
It's a good tactic so that they really don't fracture their user base. If everyone's just paying, then it's not pay to win, and it's not it's not you. How much money you have in real life will dictate how well you do in the game, and
that's true.
Same thing, pay to win.
Why couldn't you just have cosmetics be the premium stuff? You know,
because at that point it then becomes, why am I wasting my money?
Dude, there's people that would spend $1,000 or $2,000 a month on bullshit on a game that they love. Like, I've known those people. You and I will have the sense to go, why am I doing this? But Don't take it for granted that people will blow their money on bullshit.
I know that people will waste their money on stupid shit. I'm not an idiot, but I think that subscription model, it's probably long term going to keep you invested longer. Like, you're going to feel guilty if you don't play and you're paying $12-15 a month for it.
That's true. Like it creates a sense of urgency for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get down with that.
There's some logic. There's some logic there.
MMOs.
No one cares about that anymore. Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Alright, what else we got here? We got so some of the stuff the community was pointing out was Anthem, which you were saying it seems like a lot like a stab at Destiny.
It's absolutely what it is. It's Destiny done by BioWare.
Which, you know what? And then we just go through real quick. I know we went off on tangents, but I feel like it's going to do well because Destiny pretty much doesn't exist on any other platform other than Sony. Exclusive.
They're going full.
Exclusive
they're going
story?
Full multi-plat, though.
Yeah, they're going full multi-platform, but exclusive story, multiplayer, content, like, on Sony? Like, what?
It just leads me to wonder why Sony didn't pony up an extra couple of million and just make Destiny an exclusive.
Yeah, right. That's what I agree with that. Like, why give us?
It's the same.
Why give everybody else a fucking
position,
shitty version of Destiny? They have to wait a year to get story and multiplayer content, single player and multiplayer content. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's when Sony should have just put the money down on the table, made it exclusive. But no.
Like
do that 'cause
3 to 6 months exclusivity, fine, right? I'm cool with that. But a year?
They did the timed exclusive with it last time too. But I thought it was just like exotic weapons and shit like that.
Yeah,
I don't think it was story based.
Exactly. Before it was just like a couple of strikes and a couple of weapons and armor. Like shit you would have really missed. Oh, okay, I don't get to have the fucking blue moon, whatever the fuck it is.
It was the Hawk Moon.
The Hawk Moon.
And I was on PS4, and I still didn't get the Hawk Moon before my friends on Xbox got it.
Yeah, so
because RNG hates me.
We've established
and that's all that game is.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, you love Borderlands, and that's the same thing in Borderlands. So then you get some shit drops in Borderlands.
Here's the thing with Borderlands. There are hundreds of silly but viable weapons.
It's true. A lot more variety,
Destiny,
too.
Yeah, there's between legendary guns, there's anywhere from 6 to 15 different versions of them.
Yeah.
Destiny didn't have that.
Yeah,
Destiny,
and
there's
you can roll different stats, but yeah, it's very slight. Yeah,
different stat rolls, but it's not like you get a different sight on the gun or a different fucking barrel on the gun that does something completely different.
Yeah, exactly. It isn't.
There were some guns in Borderlands that were heralded as heralded. The double penetrating unkempt herald as an example. Everyone sought for that one because it was the best possible roll of that gun, and it was just devious. Yeah. But even if you didn't use pistols, there were other weapons for you. In Destiny, you had like 5 builds, maybe 6 that were viable.
Yep. Yep. And everybody had to have a fucking what's the fucking rocket launcher? Gallahorn.
That was the big issue for a while, and then they nerfed it, and That was when I tapped out at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it made me mad because when you're nerfing stuff based on PvP.
Yeah. And the PvE people suffer.
Eventually everyone's going to get a Galahorn. If you keep doing that raid, you keep doing the missions, eventually you're going to get one. So it did at one point become a have and have not situation. But there were plenty of people who didn't have it, and there were plenty of people who weren't dicks about it. So you could still group up and go do things. But you don't nerf stuff in PvE, because the PvP side of the game is what is most popular now because you gave a shit story. And because it's damn near impossible if you don't have 5 friends with that game to run a raid properly.
Oh, God, yeah.
But again, Anthem is not... I can understand why people are hyped for it. It looks cool. It looks like Crysis and Destiny.
It really does look like Crysis. That's what I thought of more than Destiny.
It's Crysis and Destiny had a baby done by BioWare, so they're going to at least try to put a story in there that is coherent.
Yeah.
They might succeed, they might not. It'll still be better than Destiny's story.
You know what? I can give 2 shits about the story. Just make the gameplay fun, to be honest. I have no expectations for the story. But when I saw that, I said, did EA take over the Crysis license? What?
But, yeah, the thing is, Bungie knows how to make a first-person shooter. Which is why Destiny was so good, because everything felt incredible. That game was, at its core, fantastic. There was nothing more satisfying than jumping through the air, chucking a knife into a Dreg's forehead, getting that one-hit kill, turning around, and then chucking another knife at somebody else. That was beautiful. So the question is, can BioWare do that with a first-person shooter? Can BioWare make a game that's that enjoyable?
If they're smart, they'll focus more on the co-op and single-player side, not so much on the PvP. That's really... Destiny really...
preferable. But the problem with that is... I understand why Destiny did what they did. I don't like it, but I understand why they did it. If you're going to focus heavy on the story and PvE, you need a lot more content for that than you do for PvP.
Right, and they're shallow. They're shallow on the content, let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, you need leagues more for PvE, and it just... I don't see... I hope they'll do it, but I definitely won't be buying that game within the first year that it's out.
Yeah. So some other thing, moving on from Anthem, a lot of people are very hyped in the community about the 4K unified Minecraft. There's a free update.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
I'm not one of them, but apparently a lot of people were really excited about that. Like, cross-play and 4K? I'm like, it's pixel art. Like, do you really care about the 4K at that point? I don't know.
It's Minecraft.
I know.
Minecraft is its own separate thing.
It really is.
I just let it exist off over there because I may not. I missed that. I missed that boat. I don't get it. It's not for me.
Well, the crossplay part is interesting because I play on a PC and Xbox One. That starts to get a lot more interesting when you talk about being able to play with anyone, anywhere. But still, I mean, it's still Minecraft.
What about the mobile? What about the mobile version of Minecraft on my fucking Samsung Tab 2?
They're saying...
I play with everybody?
That's what they're saying. I don't see how it could possibly happen without some kind of bottlenecks.
That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
That's kind of hilarious.
So, you know... I mean, I guess...
That's cool. I mean, the more, again, this goes back to why would you buy an Xbox One when it's now getting to the point where anything Windows related you can then play with someone else on a Windows-based platform.
Well, see,
It's cool.
For
Keep
me, the
doing it.
answer's simple. I don't want Windows 10 on my computer. But I might multi-boot, but that's why I would go with Xbox One instead of a PC.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Windows 10 either.
Just bad to support it at work, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but no.
I'm running Windows 7, and
Good
I think
man.
the closest I get to Windows 10 is like Windows Server Pack 2016. I think that's the newest one. Yeah, I think
Sounds
the
right.
newest iteration of Windows Server Pack runs the Windows 10. So I've dealt with it. I don't like it.
So people are talking about Forza 7. I mean, Forza is a solid series, but I mean, it's really there's not much to talk about. Oh, it looks a lot more realistic, and to me,
Cool.
like Forza is like, you either love it as a tech demo or you love it because you're really into cars, and that's pretty much it. Now Forza Horizon, that's a whole different story, but this is like the
Yeah.
hardcore racing game.
They're cool. It's
Looks
again, it's
good.
another one of those things. I always preferred like the Need for Speed side of it, the more like arcade style
Burnout?
racing game,
Burnout, yeah.
where I don't want to have to think about the headers on my engine or the intakes or some type of manifold or whatever.
You need a cold
No.
air intake, man.
My brain doesn't. I can fix computers. I can fix electronics. I don't know what I'm doing with cars.
Dude,
It's not my world.
your differential's off by 0.5 millimeters. It's like, wow, this is way too
Whatever.
involved.
That's well beyond me. Just give me a Lamborghini and let me crash into things, and we're perfect.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Crackdown 3 is one of the things I was excited about, and a lot of people seem to be very excited about that. So it'll be a launch title for the Xbox One X, which is interesting because the whole launch thing makes people think it's the next gen, but it's still a unified platform. So everything that plays on Xbox One, everything that plays Xbox One X, will be backwards and forwards compatible. It's all one ecosystem. Of course, if you have the Xbox One X, which is what used to be previously called a Scorpio, if you're not keeping up, you'll get
They
the.
should have kept it. They should
you'll-
have kept it as the Scorpio.
Well, see, that's the thing though. Like, it's a project name. Remember when Windows 95 came out? They called it Chicago. Did anybody really think they were gonna release Windows Chicago? Like, honestly,
No, but people thought that the N64 was going to be called the Nintendo Dolphin.
that's true. People are also dumb. So,
They are.
that's why they're not in marketing.
And
I mean,
the
I love
Revolution-
Dolphins,
come
but
on. If the Wii's name was the Revolution, it would have still sold the exact same amount.
that's true. In that case, but and I will say that I wanted to talk about that real quick. One of the things that made the Wii so special, I mean, there was a lot of things that had going for it. The looks of it, it was a weird hybrid of being a novelty but also being useful, right? But then it simply bridged the gap between the console generations because your controllers and your games from the GameCube worked on the Wii. Brilliant! Right? It's just a simple transition. So, like,
Loved it.
oh man, the Wii was just, I have to say, perfect. I can't think of anything wrong with it other than online being asinine, but that's Nintendo. They still feel the
But
internet.
that was 2000. That was 2006, 2007.
Yeah. Nintendo still thinks the
Xbox-
internet's kind of a fad that's gonna go away.
I think the Switch is probably gonna adjust that a little, but at that point, the PlayStation Network was still a joke, and Xbox 360, the Xbox Live was tolerable at that point. So the console's online gameplay, all of them were so-so. I think Xbox Live was probably the best of them then.
Yeah.
At this point now, I think Live and PlayStation Network are on par with each other.
You think so?
Yeah, with the PlayStation 4's launch, now that they have like the group chat outside of the games and all that, they fixed all the issues at this point now. They're both on par, I'd say.
Yeah. I get down with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we mentioned already Black Desert's coming to the consoles, so you got another MMO flavor. And if you want your anime waifu, you got that. I'm excited about Crackdown 3, but I won't get too deep into it. You know, it's GTA with more action, you know, so that's the thing. But I think the big thing what do you think?
It looks good. It looks like the other Crackdowns, just better, which is what you would expect from a sequel. That's what Terry Crews is the the advertising face for it, so it automatically wins.
That's so perfect.
I hate that man so much.
Really? Do you? Why?
He's a world-class athlete. He's hilarious.
You're jelly.
He's a fantastic artist.
Yeah?
So...
how can you live up to that, right?
I mean, he's a freak. He's not... I hate him. You shouldn't exist.
Well, you know, to be fair, he's not very attractive in the face. I don't go that way, but if we have to give him lose some points, he's tolerable in the face.
But he's ripped like Jesus.
So that makes up for it, right? Like, you got a butter face, but man, your body's great.
Yeah. Like, he's kind of hit looking, but he's ripped like Jesus, so it balances it out.
That's true. Yeah, he puts a lot of us to shame, I gotta say that.
He makes everyone look bad.
He does. He sets the bar too high.
It's upsetting.
We need him to die before Dick Van Dyke. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. And Maiden Shy White Wolf says, some girls aren't into ripped. Just saying. See?
Listen, if I were a girl, I'd totally be into ripped like Jesus.
You know, I'd like, I personally, if I had to go that way, I personally would like someone pleasantly plump, but not like obese, like morbidly obese. Just a little bit of cushion for the pushing, you know? That's probably the way I would go.
Ripped like Jesus.
She says, love snuggles and love arm muscles, but that's all. Yeah, there you go. You know what flabby and arm muscles. Flubber, that's the word I was looking for. Flubber. Remember Flubber? That's a thing. That's a movie.
Yeah. It's okay.
Everybody try to forget that, I guess. So anyway, the big thing people were really going crazy about was the price point on the Xbox One X. $499.99.
Makes sense.
Yeah. We pretty much said it was about $500-$600. Yeah. We said it's about to be $500-$600.
I thought it was gonna be like $399 to $450. I thought it was gonna be the low end window, but
well, they're taking a loss already on it. You gotta think about the hardware that's under the hood.
The price tag for it isn't terrible, and the people who were on the fence beforehand, that $500 isn't gonna push them one way or the other. I mean, people spend $500 a year on their fucking cell phones.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge leap to think someone's going to pay $500 for an Xbox.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
There's people that
It's not a bad price point.
there's people that spend over $100 a month on Starbucks. So
yeah, it just, when you're confronted with it being $500, people are gonna be like, ugh. And then you really sit down and think about it. It's like, no, that's completely reasonable.
Well, the metaphor I use is simply this. You could drive a Honda, which is a great car. But if you want a Mercedes or a BMW, it's going to cost you a little more. If you want a freaking Porsche or Lamborghini, it's going to be a lot more. And this is a premium console. So.
And those things aren't as unattainable as you think.
Exactly. But you have to make concessions for it.
Yeah, you'll have to make sacrifices elsewhere. But the fact that it can do 4K and apparently competently do 4K for $500, that's not a bad deal. I don't know what you could really do PC wise to get something 4K, but
well, yeah, just to get competent 4K, if you're building completely from scratch, you don't have a case or anything, you're probably looking at least $700-800 minimum.
Yeah.
To do it competently, and I'm being very generous. There's people like there's a PC literally said that nah, minimum $2,500. You gotta put the liquid cooling, baby.
Or there's the other extremes, like, nah, I can do it for $80.
Yeah.
You don't need a case, just put it in a pizza box.
Yeah, just stuff that falls off falls off the truck, put it in a pizza box. You don't need a case. You can just, get a cardboard box. Yeah, exactly. So, the thing about it is people they jerk off to 4K and all this stuff. You think about it from a practical sense, the difference between 1080p and 4K in a lot of cases is very marginal. I rather look at super sampling and higher frame rate, so you have sharper images rather than just pushing the resolution for the sake of pushing the resolution and have shit sampling.
Now, here's the bigger difference, though. When you're playing on a PC, how far are you from the screen?
Right, and that's exactly the thing. Like, viewing this is huge. You're not going to notice. You're not going to notice the difference between 1080 and 4K from across the room. You just won't. So, what's the resolution of a billboard? Exactly.
Do you know?
I like a highway billboard.
Yeah, highway billboard. Do you know what the resolution is on a highway billboard?
Those billboards are probably running at if you had, I'd probably measure a DPI. They're probably doing 200-300 DPI.
50.
Yeah, I figured
50
the most
DPI.
Yeah, the most is 200-300. Yeah,
and those look pretty crisp from viewing distance of the car, right?
Because they're huge, and you're looking for far away. Exactly.
So 4K just doesn't do it for me, but
yeah,
you know what does? The Guilty Gear team making a Dragon Ball Z game. Did you see that? The Dragon Ball Z fighting game?
The Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z whatever.
Fighters, yeah.
Yeah.
Being made by the Guilty Gear team.
That looks pretty good, I have to say.
Yes, please. Give me Goku in a Soul Bad Guy skin. Rolling around fireballs. I hope it's...
And it's a 2D plane.
Fast-paced.
It's a 2D plane, so that it should have good combos and then the bullshit you get for 3D fighters. So, yeah,
I don't care if it's just Guilty Gear. I don't care if it's Guilty Gear with just a Dragon Ball Z skin.
You're okay with that?
I'm perfectly fine with that. The Guilty Gear games are fast and chaotic enough.
Yeah?
Give it the Dragon Ball Z franchise. Because the the Xenoverse games are cool and all, but they're kind of tough to play at times, and the constant 3D, everybody flying around everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stuff to keep up with. I still want to see Darkstalkers done up modern ages.
Darkstalkers and Bloody Roar.
Well, that's another good one, yeah.
Those would be cool, but I think those are long dead.
Well, they kind of live on, sort of. Well, at least
Darkstalkers lives
Darkstalkers
on in Morgana, and that's it.
Morgan. That's her name, isn't it? Is it a Morgan? The one with the little bat ear, the bat wings on her hair.
Yeah.
They have a couple of They have a few characters in Marvel vs. Capcom. From Darkstalkers.
And that was the other. That was the other announcement that people weren't really surprised about because the leak beforehand. The character list for the fighters for Marvel vs. Capcom next one.
Yeah.
Which looks okay. I wasn't impressed with Street Fighter 4 or 5. Or even Marvel vs. Capcom 3, so...
And
don't know if...
still a Sony exclusive, so they can eat a dick.
Is it a Sony exclusive?
I think so. It still is.
Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yeah. I'm butthurt about that. At least put it on PC. Jesus.
Buy a fucking... You can get a PlayStation 4 for relatively cheap.
My son has one. I just don't want to touch it. I might get cooties.
Stop being a bitch. Oh, you can get it on Steam too.
Yeah. I guess I'll play it. If it's on PC, I'll play it on PC. But that's one of those situations where I actually feel those games are generally tuned better to console than PC. A lot of fighting games that play on PC, man, they are such lazy ports, man. Injustice was one of the rare exceptions, but so many fighting games on PC are just like, they don't even try. You know what? Naruto Shippuden was pretty good. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Did a good job.
I played the beta of that. I haven't played the full game, but that was pretty good.
That game already played like it was... You were in mud anyway, so...
Really did. Walking through molasses.
We didn't even get to the best part of the Microsoft press conference yet.
What, Age of Empires Definitive Edition? No one expected, but that's actually kind of cool.
Oh no, that was the EA one. That was the A Way Out. The guys that did Brothers.
That looks good too.
Prison Break, the game.
No, I thought that was the Artful Escape.
Artful Escape.
Yeah, that was a thing too. They showed like 10 seconds of footage of that game, and they was like, okay, and then Artful Escape. I forget which conference that was. It's all a blur in my mind at this point. I'm looking at my notes here.
There was Xbox One and PC was the Artful Escape.
You have me right, yeah.
The Artful Escape of Francis Vendetti.
Oh, wait, that's the full name? The full title?
Yes.
Really? That's a mouthful. No one's gonna remember that.
So everyone's just calling it the Artful Escape.
By the way, I learned from the Microsoft press event that it's not called Mojang, it's Mojang.
They can call it whatever they want. They paid $2 billion for it.
Yeah. Oh! So are we wrapping up the Microsoft event and then moving on to the other stuff? Is that what we're doing?
We can, yeah, we can wrap up on Microsoft and then...
Well, I wanted to say the last night looks good. Code Vein looks really good. I love the art style on that.
Code Vein's multi-platform.
I know. I didn't say
they
it's
just
exclusive.
happened to show it at the Microsoft one. But yeah, Code Vein looks like fucking weeb Dark Souls, and I am in.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
I wish they picked a better font, to use than Bleeding Kansas, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine.
It's sad that I know what you're talking about.
Yep. You want to look rugged and edgy? Go for it. But yeah, that one looks. That game does look good. I'm very interested. Dark Souls with waifus, I'm in. Because we didn't get any actual announcements from Software, so.
Dude, did we see some freaking elven booty in there? I could have sworn I remember seeing some elven booty in Code Vein. I'm gonna think about desert.
Definitely some waifu action.
There was some waifu action. Okay, I'm just making sure. I remember looking at them like, man, there's some hot girls in this thing. But the big one for me, as like a multiplayer guy, is the Darwin Project. That, you know, it looks like, you know, outside of the other buzzwords we talked about, I think the big play everybody's going for is esports. And with the Darwin Project, they had a shoutcast actually come out and like shoutcast the whole thing. Like, oh, this is us. It's the last guy left. They're going after him. He's going for the stealth. He's going to go around the wide angle. He's going to try to flank up. Oh, but they think he's responding. Blah, 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 blah. That's how
so based on your excitement from last year, this game's going to get shit canned.
Oh, God. Is that a scale-bound reference?
Yes.
Boo.
Because that's what Microsoft does to you. And yet you keep going back.
It's a abusive relationship.
At least Sony eventually puts out the games they talked about.
Well, in this case, it's a game that's based on multiplayer. So there's probably a better chance that it will stick around.
And it's the battle arena style hotness, which is popular right now.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to get that out as quickly as possible before that wave crashes.
Exactly. So this will be out sooner rather than later. People will start playing it. I'll get a small market share at least. They're talking about a lot of.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to pull people away from PUBG.
Yeah. Yeah, the battleground
that game
hype.
That game showed up. And it's not even just so much that it's naked hype anymore. The game's legitimately good.
Yeah.
So it has a lot to compete with to catch up to it. So
Yeah, because before you could argue it was just a hot newness, but it seemed like it has actual staying power compared to a lot of other things that have been flavor of the moment. The other thing people seem pretty big on is the State of Decay 2. That shows some promise. So
I think State of Decay 2, that's the which one was that?
GTA zombie game.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, I think Days Gone is gonna overshadow that one.
Is that comparing apples to apples, you think?
Zombie type games? Probably not, but I think as far as the Sony side, I think Days Gone is gonna overshadow a lot of games.
Now that does look good, and I'm munching on. Have you seen these? They're called Pringles sticks. Have you seen these yet?
No.
Do you like Pringles?
So it's just Pringles crushed up?
God, it sounds horrible.
Just Pringles dust?
They're recycling the dust of Pringles that no one eats. Oh man.
Yeah,
No,
add a little bit of water, a little bit of flour, turn it into a nice paste, and then
no, it's no, it's like you ever had Nutella, you little buckets where it has like one compartment is the Nutella and the other compartment is just the sticks you dip in there.
yeah.
So it's that, just the sticks, and this particular flavor is called honey butter. Pretty good, man. Little they're like really thin breadsticks, basically. It's tasty, man. And only 100 calories per pack.
Per stick. Enjoy.
It says per pack, damn it. They wouldn't lie in the packaging.
They would lie on the packaging. Probably are.
Alright, so I know we gotta start wrapping up soon, so let's talk about
Clip
Sony.
this off here, and then I was gonna say we can clip this off here and then talk about Sony and Nintendo next week.
You wanna do that?
We could do that. I mean, it is 1:30 in the morning.
Is it already? Really?
Yep.
Holy Hannah. Do we want to talk about Bethesda anymore? I know we mentioned them a little bit before we wrap up.
What's there really to say about Bethesda other than VR, Skyrim, jerk off Skyrim some more Skyrim.
Oh, Fallout 4,
VR.
Fallout 4 VR.
Fallout 4 VR. Skyrim.
Quake
Let's go
Champions.
shoot some Nazis.
Oh yeah, Wolfenstein
Quake
2.
Champions.
Yeah, the what is
Quake
it called?
Champions looks great.
What is it called? The next Colossus. Is that what?
The new Colossus?
The new Colossus. That's it. That looks really good.
But Quake Champions. How fucking awful was that trailer?
It didn't. It wasn't.
The way that they portray esports, making it look edgy and tough, like they're all in a fucking warehouse with their computers.
Oh, you're talking about the one with the it's like a white background and like they had like the girl with the piercings, like the snake bites on her lips. Then they had the other dude.
I don't think that was it. When they were actually announcing the game itself, and they were like, God, it was so bad. Because it's like they're just trying so hard to look tough. Like, yeah, esports are real tough sports. Yeah. No, you're a bunch of nerds at a computer. And then the amount of dust and dirt in that warehouse is going to choke that computer out real fast. Stop it.
Oh my god. You're killing me.
I'm just saying.
No, it's true. No, the one that got me was like the cute Asian girl with the snake bites and the pierced nose, and then there was like the dude with the messy hair. I'm like, man, they're just going for all the freaking cliches they could go for. And they're like, and then they announced the, I think it was like $1 million prize pop for their esports thing for Quake Champions.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, bringing back those actual battle arenas, those types of games, that's going to be...
Yeah.
I hope that catches on more.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some variety in that space.
Yeah, because that map design is more... You have more encounters with other players rather than just running around and just waiting to see if you'll eventually run into someone.
Yeah. Keep it small, keep it close, keep it confined.
Yep.
Force the action.
And I think, honestly, I still think id is one of the best companies when it comes to level design. I can't think of anyone else that really does what they do when it comes to that.
So you'd have to dig in and see if it's like it's got to be like a specific group of people.
Yeah. So there's like
It's like a handful of like individuals that know how to make those maps and make them well.
And then when they leave, like, you have to track them.
Yeah, and then that's when they leave, that's when one game starts to slip, and then the company that they go back to, or they go to after that, starts picking up speed. And everyone's like, I wonder what happened. Because these guys on the back end that you don't know, shifting around, are like making the power play moves.
Yeah, because if you think about it, John Carmack moved on, but they're still doing all right. So obviously he wasn't as critical to the team as we had thought, you know. It's like people tend to overstate how important Steve Jobs was for Apple, but
now here's where I disagree.
Okay.
With Steve Jobs anyway. Apple didn't really start dropping that ball on the computer side until Jobs died. As far as phones went, sure, they're as competitive as everyone else in the market. Computers, that is very obviously not their main focus anymore.
So you're saying Steve Jobs helped them push that?
Yeah, Steve Jobs was about the computers and keeping the pro machines pro. Which, if you saw their press conference 2 weeks ago, they're kind of going back to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But not in a way that Steve Jobs would have done.
Well, you know, and I don't
Jobs
think
doesn't.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Jobs doesn't die. We would still have a Mac Pro tower that you can swap parts out of easily.
Well, I'm not trying to take away anything from him.
And I think he was more important to the company, but he's also one of those exception to the rule kind of guys.
He was. But I think he was just good at selling. As far as the actual design and engineering, he doesn't have nearly as much influence as people think he did. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was the visionary. He was like the captain, right? He helped them do
as far as the engineering of the stuff. No, I don't think he wasn't that instrumental in the engineering of it. He probably was more of a hindrance than he was a help on some of that.
Right. He was a pain in the ass to work for or work with.
Yeah, especially with keeping like the smaller form factor of the phone and all that. Despite every other company going larger screens, he wanted to keep it the size of the 4.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that
stupid.
You know, when I look at it, I think they're not the same id they were back in the days, you know, classic Doom or whatever. But like, I'm starting to get to that point where I see an id Bethesda project and I'm like, I feel a lot more confident in it than I would in most other things.
Absolutely.
So,
I still see Betheda's name on something and I just kind of recoil back a little because Skyrim wasn't.
Yeah,
Skyrim.
I'm with you, man. Like I won't say love. I like Skyrim, but I don't get why people jerk it off so much. It's a great game, but if you look at the base game, there's a lot of things fundamentally wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like I said, anyone who bought the game on PS3 and still gives Bethesda their money is an idiot.
So, folks, we're wrapping up, but I want to say that next week we'll talk more about the Nintendo and the Sony side of E3, and we'll also talk about the E3, the Forbes article about E3, where they say they make a pretty loaded statement. They say the Nintendo Switch is a threat to the Xbox One X, which to me is funny.
100% right.
We're gonna get into that one then. I see what they're saying, and I get the point they're making about and it goes back to what you said earlier, exclusivity. But God, man, Nintendo and Microsoft cannot be going after different customers. Like, I cannot even say Nintendo and anything else in the same breath, really. Because like Nintendo's its own thing. Like, no one's making something comparable to Mario or Metro Prime, really. So why are we comparing it? Hey, I'm gonna mess up your name. Pay ENWC. Thank you for the follow.
That's Pay. He's a good guy.
Oh, you know Pay? That's one of your homies?
Yeah, I know him. He's good.
Why didn't you say hello to him in the chat?
Because I'm not looking at chat. I'm in the show notes.
Oh, you're so focused. What's your other monitor doing? You're looking at porn, aren't you?
No, I'm playing Borderlands.
Oh, that's right. See? Pay.
Borderlands. I got show notes. I got Discord open.
Pay, get on your boy Pete Beard. He's ignoring the chat. He's supposed to help me engage with the chat, and he's like, meh.
I'm a retired streamer. I don't know about any of this stuff.
Retired. Whatever. You still stream more than I do.
I haven't streamed in. It's been like 3 or 4 months now.
No.
Yeah.
I call shenanigans in that.
When was my last broadcast? Let me check this. Oh, I can ban myself? Cool.
That'd be useful.
Dope. Oh, they added new functionality. You can, I don't know if this is new or not, but I can left click on somebody's name, and I can choose to ban them for up to a week.
Oh, yeah.
I can purge their chat from the last hour. That's dope.
Yeah, they made it a lot more granular. So yeah, that Forbes article will be an interesting discussion, because I look at Nintendo these days as like competing in a completely different space. But I see what the point is, like talking about second console, like what would justify being a second console. So they're trying to say, oh, if you're not already an Xbox person, you're probably not gonna buy the Xbox One X. So we'll get into it. We will discuss
May 28th.
That's the last time you streamed?
Yep, May 28th.
Dude, that was like a month ago. If even that.
No, that was... Oh, wait. That was the last time I changed it. I changed it to blank on May 28th. So the last time I streamed was... March 21st.
Okay.
Been a while. I don't have the time for it anymore, so...
We should team up and do Retro Friday together. Lol.
Yeah. We won't stream it at all. We're just gonna hang out and play retro games. And talk about it later.
We'll stream it for like 5 minutes. Hey, we play some games. Okay, see you next time.
No, we'll just stream the post-cigarette wrap-up.
Oh, but Twitch doesn't like smoking.
Listen. I'm going to set my camera up outside on my front porch. I'm going to sit there and smoke cigarettes and just talk to a camera all day.
I think there'll be an audience for that. That'll work.
I'll get like 8 people to watch.
What else do we have in the notes? We already mentioned Age of Empires Definitive Edition. That's pretty cool.
Unless we really want to, if we want to dig into EA or... I mean, Bethesda and EA, I think, kind of felt both around the same level of nah.
Well, EA had we were talking about Anthem,
Yeah, we talked about Anthem. Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh yeah, that looks promising.
They gave you a single player campaign, which is what everyone bitched about the first time.
Yep.
And now if it's a shitty campaign, no one has a right to bitch about it.
Yeah, I liked Battlefront, the new version. So I just wanted space battles. Really, that's the only thing that was lacking for me.
It needed the space battles. Battlefront to me, it just felt like Battlefield 4 with a space skin. Just like a generic space skin, not Star Wars. And it lacked punch.
I can see that.
It was not... It didn't grab me. It didn't do anything for me.
What else
I can see why the Star Wars fans loved it.
What else did EA announce? Cause I can't remember anything else.
Their press conference bored the hell out of me, and they had fucking Jesse Wellens hosting it. That was awful. Felt bad for him. He was dying up there.
You get the crickets. Good times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else at EA, so I think next week we'll just pick up on Sony and Nintendo, and if we remember anything else, we'll bring it up.
Because Sony and Nintendo definitely brought it.
I think Microsoft brought it, but I mean, I'm a little biased, so.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about Microsoft's presser is that they kept saying exclusive.
4K.
It was like and the word exclusive doesn't mean anything anymore, and especially now. Well, because it's now if it's new to the console and they have a timed exclusive, they call that exclusive. And I get it. You don't want to get into a long-winded thing. Limited time exclusive, console exclusive. You know, I get it.
Sony does it first. Sony does it best. They say play it here first.
Yeah.
Okay, so that automatically says it's a timed exclusive. You can get access to it there before anything else without being wordy and douchebaggy.
Yeah, that's a good approach. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That is a better approach. And BFT says, I'm sitting here like, I've got a PC, I'm good.
I got a PS4. I'm going to buy a Switch. I will never need another system.
I've got an Atari 2600. Suck it.
Let's see what's on my shelf over there. I can see a PS3, a PS2, a Wii U, a Wii, GameCube, SNES, an NES, a Dreamcast.
Ooh! Dreamcast.
I'm good.
It's a good lineup. So yeah, that'll be our conversation next week. So Beard, we're not doing this crazy show with us. What else? Where else can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Beard and Hat. Now that I've fixed my phone, I will be reachable via that all the time.
Oh yeah, another thing we'll talk about next week: winners and losers, because people love talking about that. Who won E3?
Nintendo did. There you go. Spoiler.
Oh, spoiler. And BFT says he got a PC, PS4, and Wii U. Wii U? People still have that? Nice.
Oh yeah. I wasn't thinking about upgrading until E3. Once after Nintendo's press conference, I'm like, I should probably upgrade.
Oh my.
But I'll still buy Zelda beforehand and play it.
Yeah,
because I'll be a contrarian. I'll be the contrarian about it and buy the Switch, but not buy Breath of the Wild.
I mean, you know, let's be honest. You're not gonna get that much more of a upgrade in the visuals, performance.
No, you don't. It doesn't. There's going to be little to no difference.
Though I did like that dinosaur trailer for Mario Odyssey. That was pretty cool. That looked pretty good, actually.
Mario Odyssey looks incredible.
I get very much a vibe of Mario Sunshine and Mario Galaxy kind of like together for some reason. That's how it plays.
That's what it seems like. It seems like it's more adventure based than traditional.
Yeah, it feels a lot more open. Yeah, so it looks very promising. And BFT says that the Pants Company's won. Everybody proved themselves at the Monster Hunter Worlds.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Worlds.
By the way,
do it next week.
By the way, folks, if you want to share your impressions, your winners and losers for E3, whatever, your highlights, send it over to mail@geekyantics.net. Again, mail@geekyantics.net. Or you can leave us a voicemail or text message. Yeah, SMS. 646-801-2149. Again, 646-801-2149. I'm Yogizilla everywhere, pretty much. The main place you probably find me these days is on Twitter, at Yogizilla. Or I'm going to be trying to get back on Xbox Live. I haven't been doing much gaming lately, but I will be getting back on Xbox soon. Yogizilla on there, Tumblr, all that good stuff, Instagram. So let's connect. Anything else? Anything I missed, Beard?
No, we'll cover the rest next week.
All right. And we'll see you next week, next Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern. Be there, be square. Peace.
I'll be late.